ABC's Monday Night Baseball, live from Fenway Park in Boston, Massachusetts. The Boston Red Sox host the California Angels. This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by Chevrolet and Chevrolet dealers coast to coast. By the newest member of Gillette's All-Star team, Foamade Tropical Coconut Shave Cream. Every shave is like a trip to the tropics. By the Miller Brewing Company, brewers of Miller High Life. If you've got the time, we've got the beer. And by Allstate Insurance Companies. You're in good hands with Allstate. The heat and humidity of midsummer hangs over old Fenway Park tonight as the Red Sox host the California Angels. And looking at the American League standings, first in the West, California sits on top. Texas and Minnesota, 2 games are back. The Rangers at home tonight with Kansas City. The biggest move in the Western Division since the All-Star break by the Minnesota Twins, who are right there. In the Eastern Division of the American League, you can see Baltimore is leading Boston by 3.5, but the big move since the break has been by the Milwaukee Brewers. They run off 10 wins in a row, and now they are just 5 games off the lead. The Yankees are 11.5 back. And hello again, everybody. I'm Keith Jackson as we settle in here at Fenway tonight, and I think you can just look at me and tell it's hot. The California Angels, after the All-Star break, had a long, hard road trip in front of them. They knew it. They knew they had to get some good pitching. They have gotten that. They knew their bats had to continue ring. They have not continued to hit the ball with the authority they did before the All-Star break. They lost 3 out of 4 to the Baltimore Orioles, lost in extra innings yesterday here in Boston. They've lost 4 games in a row. They do have Rod Carew back tonight. He is the DH, and he will top the batting order. He'll lead off, an unusual circumstance for him perhaps, but that's where he is. Over the last couple of outings, the young relief pitcher Mark Clear has not been as effective as he has been in previous outings. So right now, Jim Fregosi has to hope that he can salvage one of the 2 games being played here in Boston before the Angels move on to New York against the Yankees 4-3. Rod Carew, with his injured right hand, out of the cast now, but braced and very sore and tender. But he will be at the top of the batting order tonight. As for the Boston Red Sox, let's turn to them now and join Howard Cosell.
Okay, Keith, the Red Sox think they're well positioned to make a run in this, the second half of the season, for the pennant. One big reason, which I discussed with Jim Rice just before the players took the field for the start of tonight's contest, was their added maturity this year and some bench. And then, well, then I talked to him about why there's a higher morale this year than a year ago. Here's what Jim told me.
Well, I would say, just like you're saying, maturing. I think the guys maturing a little bit. And last year we had a couple of key injuries, whereas we have Remy hurt right now. We haven't had that too much of a serious problem. And the acquiring of Bobby Watson helped us out a lot. And I think without Watson and with Yaz hurting right now with his ankle or whatever, it could be a really bad thing for the Red Sox. And by acquiring Bob Watson, we can give Yaz a couple of days off. Paquette, Jimmy Dwyer, we have guys to fill in, whereas last year we didn't have.
In other words, you're not worried about the Yankees this year.
No, you can't worry about the Yankees right now. What you got to worry about is trying to stay healthy and worry about Baltimore. Hope Baltimore can at least someone cool those guys off. And you got to worry about Milwaukee. As far as the Yankees, I don't think we have anything to worry about because I don't think we're going to lay down, which we didn't lay down last year. We had a couple of key injuries. I think this year Baltimore is a team to beat, and you can't count Milwaukee out. Whereas I don't think the Yankees are going to be that much of a threat. But those guys can be spoilers, and I think any ball club that's going to put their best 9 out there can be spoilers at any time. Whereas we just played Seattle, and they came in and spoiled us a little bit. So anybody can be a spoiler right now. But as far as winning the division, I don't think the Yankees have a chance this year.
As far as winning the division, I don't think the Yankees have a chance this year. Words from Jim Rice. Words that could come back to haunt him if baseball history continues the way it has gone in the past. Once Bill Terry said the Dodgers are dead. The Dodgers beat Terry out of a pennant. Once Chuck Dressen said the Giants are dead, and the Giants came on in 51 with Thompson's homer to win the pennant. The Red Sox have another big thing going for them, and a man with a personal milestone is named Carl Yastrzemski on the field to talk with Carl, Bob Uecker.
Thank you very much, Howard. And Carl Yastrzemski, home run number 400 is going to put you in a very select group. You'll become the 18th guy in baseball history to hit 400 or more home runs. I'm sure you'd like to do it here at Fenway Park.
I'd definitely love to do it in front of the hometown fans, but it's taking quite a long time. It's something that goes on and on and on, and a few things start to build up as far as your thinking is concerned. I found myself, when we returned off this road trip, pressing a little bit, trying to hit home runs in certain situations where I normally wouldn't have tried to swing for them.
What about this ball club compared to last year's club, Carl? Stronger, do you think?
I think so, because of our bench. Bob Watson has made a tremendous difference to us. Tom Poquette, Larry Wolf. The manager can do things. Last year we couldn't pinch hit, say, if we were down in the 9th inning and there was a left-hand pitcher on a mound. Yesterday you saw Wolf come up and a few other ball players, and they've been successful all year long, and this is what's kept us in the pennant race.
Okay, Carl Yastrzemski down here. Now let's go back upstairs to Keith and Howard.
Okay, folks, leading off for the California Angels, the DH, Rod Carew at 352. Connie Lansford batting next at 303. Dan Ford at 287. And then, look out, Don Baylor at 290, 24 homers, 88 ribbies. And then the youngster with the big bat, Willie Aiken, 16 home runs. Brian Downing tied for the league lead in batting with young Smalley. And then Joe Rudy off at 223. Jim Anderson next at 242. Dickie Thun in place of the still injured Jerry Remy at 314. Keith to set the defense.
And the Boston Red Sox coming out of the dugout wearing the home white uniforms. The Red Sox ticket situation here as we have another full house tonight. And our thanks to Haywood Sullivan for lifting the local blackout so that everybody around the Boston area and through New England could enjoy the ball game tonight. Arthur Moscato says in all of his 32 years here in the Boston ticket office that this is the greatest demand for tickets that he has ever seen. It's gone so far as where families will come and split up to buy individual tickets to come to the ballpark. And the reasons are reflected here. Men like Jim Rice, who will play left field tonight with a big home run swing, who was rattling the fences and the screen in batting practice in the major leagues. One of the major league's most prolific home run hitters, Freddie Linz, in center field, still dragging, however, a sore leg from a pulled groin muscle. Over in right field, one of the best defensive arms in the game anywhere today, Dwight Evans. He hit the home run yesterday to keep him in the ball game to win an extra innings. Over at third base, from Alabama, you have Mr. Butch Hobson, who's improving with every ball game, gaining maturity and confidence. At shortstop, again, you have one of the better ones around, and Rick Burleson. At second base, a man who has contributed mightily to the fortunes of the Red Sox, Jack Brohammer. He's playing second base in the absence of Jerry Remy, who brought the lineup card out. Over at first base, Carl Yastrzemski, and we just told you Yaz a story. His next home run is number 400. And here is a big thing for the Boston Red Sox right here. The presence of this man back at the plate, Carlton Fisk. And on the mound tonight, he'll be catching a young rookie right-hander, Joel Finch, who's one of the youngest pitchers in Major League Baseball. He won't be 23 until the 20th of August. He is 0-1, making his first start against the California Angels.
And I made a boo-boo ahead of myself. We talked at length a week ago Friday about Bobby Grish, or Gritch, as you will, and tonight I said Dickie Thun was in place of the injured Jerry Remy. Of course, he's in place of Bobby. Bobby absolutely killed the Yankees and then got injured and hasn't played in the last couple of games. Rod Carew and Keith Jackson back in the booth with us is the inimitable Bob Uecker. Don Drysdale not with us under the ABC Sports policy. He works the California Angels games all year long and on a network telecast. Can't work for the team he covers during the year.
Yep, this is my second option.
And you played it out.
Rod Carew at 352, having been on the disabled list as of June 5 with torn ligaments in his right thumb. Didn't play until Saturday past. And he takes strike one from Joel Finch. DH and leading off tonight, and he punches it down the left field line. It is in there, fair ball going to the corner. Jim Rice picks it up, and Rod Carew canters into second base with a stand-up double, and that's exactly why Jim Fregosi had him where he had him in the batting order.
And the man is amazing. He was telling you, Keith, and me on the field before the game, as we look at this again. Here it is again.
A tough pitch to hit, Howard. He hit that inside fastball, that ball from the middle toward the inside.
Hits the inside out even more effectively than Wally Moon used to in the old days at the L.A. Coliseum when the Dodgers were playing there. But he was saying, what was it, Keith? By the 4th inning, when he was at first, he'd received the ball, and it felt like a shot put.
Yeah, it felt like it weighed 12 pounds. Here's Carney Lansford now, the third baseman, hitting .303 on the year. Youngster, 22 years of age, headed for stardom in baseball. The temperature right now, folks, is a robust 88 degrees, and the humidity feels like it is more than that.
But it's a super scene. Intimate Fenway Park, an absolutely packed house. Fans dreaming of pennant, and the Angels dreaming of getting back on the winning track.
That's foul to the left side, and it's off the hands of Danny Ford, who's waiting in the on-deck circle. Haywood Sullivan said a few minutes ago that tickets are already sold, assuring the Boston Red Sox of well over $2 million again in 1979.
It's incredible, isn't it? Ballpark with this capacity.
I think it's marvelous.
Meanwhile, in the old baseball cliche, the task here, get the runner over. Let's see if Carney can.
Lansford with a 2-strike count on him, punches to the right side, all right, but he gets this one off the end of the bat upstairs, out of play. Rod Carew leading off with a stand-up double down the left field line. He's out there with Danny Ford on deck, and then the number 4 hitter is Don Baylor, who put on a show in batting practice.
Keith, I'll tell you something about Joel Finch. You might watch early in the ball game. You're talking with Al Jackson. This guy likes to pitch inside. No matter how close that wall is in left field, they still have to pitch inside here.
As he just did.
Well, the thing with Fenway Park, Howard, you know, fellas that crowd the plate or guys even that stand a little bit off the plate, the pitch outside from the middle toward the outside part, you can still pull it long enough to hit that wall in short left field. So you'll see a lot of inside fastballs tonight from Finch.
The count is 1-2 with Carew off second, and Lansford bangs it back up the middle. They'll go to second on Carew, and he's safe. They don't get Lansford, obviously, because Finch elected to go to second, and Rod, quick as a cat, went in under the tag of Burleson.
Here you'll see it one more time now. This ball hit sharply back to Finch. On one hop, there's Carew off the bag at second. There's the throw by Finch to Burleson covering, and Carew is in ahead of the throw. And you'll look one more time now. There's Carew with that lead off second. And Burleson takes the high throw.
And it's a play of a rookie pitcher. Should have had the man at first at least. He
Yep, the sure man.
Yep. So you have base runners at first and second, and here's Dan Ford with 11 home runs, you can see, and 50 runs batted in, and he has plenty of power to reach the wall here.
But if the old cliche obtains, and it should, percentage-wise, he'll be trying to go to right. And he does hit to right center generally anyway.
It's 380 to the right side, and Finch is on the outside corner, but he's low with that pitch for ball 1. Nobody out for the Angels. They're trying to get something early. They led 5-2 yesterday against the Red Sox. Evans homered to tie, and the Sox won it in 10. Big Don Baylor is waiting on deck. But fouled away. Carew is taking some liberty at second base. He had a big lead that time. Carlton Fisk said before the game that his sore arm doesn't feel all that bad, that he feels the heat of summer has perhaps helped some, plus the time that he has had to take off to heal it. But he said he felt no pain in catching the game yesterday.
Keith, you know, every once in a while in this kind of a situation, runners at first and second, you might see a catcher call a breaking pitch, curveball, get the hitter to offer, be fooled, and then make a throw to second base with a guy like Carew who gets that big lead, as you said.
Burleson sliding in behind him a little bit. There's a big hole between short and third for Ford. Now Burleson goes back to the hole, and the ball is fouled back here. Missed Howard.
Well, this is our anniversary of the game a couple of years ago when Howard took one from Butch Hobson, and he is ready tonight. Hands up.
That speech just made by Bob Uecker as he got up gingerly from under the desktop here.
Top of the first inning. Carew's at second, Lansford at first, Ford at bat, nobody out. Joel Finch in trouble immediately. The Angels won the first game in Baltimore, then lost 3 in a row to the Birds. Lost here yesterday. So they have run up a string of 4 consecutive losses. Ford, severely closed stance, as you can see, and he punches it to the right side, and it's going to drop for a base hit, and Carew takes the turn. Ball hits softly. Evans has no play at the plate, whips it back in. Angels take the lead 1-0 as Lansford goes to third.
So Ford not only did his job in moving the runners, but achieved maximum effectiveness by producing a base hit in the bargain. And as I suggested, watch him reach out and punch it. He is normally an opposite field hitter anyway.
Not a bad pitch by Joel Finch either, Howard. A breaking ball down low and away, and it's, you said Ford just reached out and punched at the right field. Runners first and third, 1-0 California.
And here's big bad news for Boston. His name is Don Baylor. His average is .290. His home run total 24. He leads the major leagues in runs batted in. And historically, his most productive months are August and September. Nobody out, 1 run in, runners at the corner, top of the first. Butch Hobson at second, goes to second for 1, and they come to the plate on Lansford, and Fisk can't handle it. Angels 2, Boston 0. Came to the plate,
but he couldn't get the ball out of the glove. And if we have a replay here, and I'm not suggesting it, Chester, here it is, you will see Brohammer cannot get the ball out of the glove, so they give up the double play. See that?
Lansford, with his quickness, came down from third to score. The Angels lead 2-0. Ford is out at second base, and Willie Aikens is the batter. Don Baylor, the man there on first base, with Yastrzemski holding the inside corner. And Aikens is up with 61 runs batted in. Willie looks, it's outside and low.
Sweet swinging young Willie Mays Aikens. Tremendously powerful build. Quick, swift, crisp swing, and yet uncoils.
He hasn't been below a .270 average this season since he took over with Carew getting hurt. With Carew back, it's conceivable that Aikens could go more to the DH position and hold that spot, though he's done a creditable job at first base. There goes Baylor. The throw by Fisk. No, sir. Baylor steals it. Big man is quick. He stole that one off the pitcher.
He had a good jump off Joel Finch. There you see the lead by Baylor at first base. Now watch the jump. There's a good jump by Baylor. It was a breaking pitch by Finch. Here's the throw by Fisk in the dirt, knocked down by Burleson, and Baylor's at second with a stolen base.
13th of the year for the big guy. He's done everything for the California Angels this season.
Well, I like the way Fregosi manages. He's an aggressive manager. His team has lost 4 in a row, as Keith said, but that didn't daunt him. Matter of fact, he had a lot of fun with Euchre before, but then who doesn't, Keith?
Aikens takes inside, another breaking pitch, and the count 3 balls and no strikes with 1 out, and Baylor at second base, and Brian Downing is on deck. Downing broke at All-Star time with a .352 average. He's down to .345. Big swing by Aikens, and it's 3-1. So Fregosi had green-lighted him on 3-0.
Exactly what I suggested when I talked about that man, Jim Fregosi, who as a player was made famous by being traded for Nolan Ryan.
Well, he did win a Gold Glove and wrap out a few base hits.
Owes his whole career to Bobby Cannop.
3-1 the count to Willie. Outside, ball 4. So Finch is having trouble here in the top of the first inning. Note on Fregosi, we did the Friday the 13th game from Anaheim, and Jimmy was in the hospital with some internal disorders. He's starting his second week of chicken broth, jello, and tea, and getting slim.
But he looks good.
Doctor told him if he couldn't see through it, don't drink it.
Feels good. That's right. That's what he told him. There's Popeye the Zipper, Don Zimmer.
And Dick Drago in the bullpen already as Brian Downing steps in now with 1 out, 2 runs in for California, and 2 men aboard. Baylor at second and Akins at first, and they can both haul it.
This man, one of the more interesting stories in baseball this year. Look at that batting stance, but then watch him move that front foot in. You saw it.
Finch having trouble finding the corners. Joel has not worked lately. His last outing was 2 weeks ago, 2 innings of relief, and for the month of July he's only pitched 9 innings. So there's some reason for rustiness on his part. He's in a jam right now. He comes low to Downing, and it's 2 balls and no strikes.
How do you like that?
Very productive, I'd say.
Oh. He's having one of those years. We saw an evidence of it a week ago Friday night. Every ground ball with seeing eyes.
Big swing and a miss on a sinker, and it's 2-1 with the veteran umpire Bill Haller back at the plate. We've got a couple of rookies working tonight. John Shulock at first. Rocky Rowe is up for about 3 weeks from the American Association, and we have Russ Getz over at third. Some injured umpires, ill umpires. That's the reason for so many rookies showing up. The 2-1 pitch to Downing. Just misses.
That's the kind of a ball game that you'll see Finch work throughout the night. Keith, he's not an overpowering type pitcher. He's got a good sinking type fastball. He tries to stay downstairs and work the corners, but he has a tendency every once in a while to pitch from behind with breaking stuff. And I think the same holds true for the California starter tonight.
Dave Frost.
Dave Frost, yep.
He tried to bend it, couldn't snap it, missed inside with it, and Downing is aboard. So he has walked Akins and Downing. The bases are loaded for Joe Rudy, and here comes Don Zimmer. Finch may not make it out of the first inning. Nope. Zip is taking the ball away from him right now. So Dick Drago, who has been warming up in the bullpen, will come in, replacing young Joel Finch. We've got a timeout with the Angels leading 2-0.
All right. Carlton Fisk right there. And the new pitcher coming on. Carlton Fisk, a man I talked with before the start of the game. And the question, Boston's morale this year, now, as against a year ago when they were riding high. Here's Carlton. Pudge, is the morale of this club higher now than at this time a year ago?
I think it is, Howard. I think that last year, even though we had a 5 or 6 game lead at this time last year, we knew that the injuries would catch up to us down the stretch. We had 3 or 4 or 5 guys, key men to our lineup, were injured. This year we have the addition of Bob Watson, the trade for Tom Paquette. Steve Renko's doing a great job, and our bench strength, in which we didn't have last year. So I think this year we are more solid in the pitching staff, and our offense is obviously more solid with Bob Watson in the lineup.
But the pitching staff has been rattled around some here already tonight, and here is Dick Drago making his 32nd appearance of the season. As young Joel Finch is able to go only 2/3 of an inning. He leaves with the bases loaded. Drago, in his last outing on Saturday against Seattle, pitched 1 1/3 innings. He gave up 3 runs on 3 hits. You see his numbers on the season there. He will be pitching first to Joe Rudy, who has incidentally 2 Grand Slam home runs in this ballpark.
Which is just another way of saying, Keith, as the fans know, this ballpark is made for scoring. No lead is safe. Yesterday, the Angels led by 3 runs. The Red Sox tied it up in the late going, came on to win it in extra innings. Zimmer didn't want to wait. He didn't want to fall too far behind. Drago, a much traveled player, was acquired by the Red Sox last year. Did a good job, Bob.
I tell you, he's had a rejuvenation here, Howard. His fastball, over the last couple of years, he's really come back with a good fastball. He was a power type. I classified him a power type pitcher with Kansas City. He had a good fastball, slider, and a curve. He lost the fastball for a while. He had arm problems. Then here with Boston, fastball's back a little bit.
But in his last 11 innings, he has been
fastball
bombed.
is not fast anymore.
All right, Joe Rudy steps in with the bases loaded and 1 out in the top of the first inning. Let's see what happens. Wind is blowing straight out, what little there is. 88 degrees at game time. Hot, muggy, stuffy night. Jams him inside for ball 1. Baylor is at third. Akins is at second. There's the flag in center field, and it's blowing now. Turns around a little bit and blowing toward the green monster, right toward the left field wall.
If you want to feel cool here, you got to shinny up that flagpole and sit with the flag.
Joe Rudy, ball 1. Bases loaded. 2 runs in for California. 1 out. Oh, Joe held up. And change broke in.
A little changeup off a breaking ball that time from Dick Drago. Saw him come inside with that first fastball. I think a lot of pitchers here in this park, Keith, are so hesitant to pitch inside because the margin for error is so very small inside. But you have to pitch inside here to keep everybody honest. You can't keep pitching away.
1 ball, 1 strike to Rudy. Drago trying to keep him in the ballpark. Foul back. And Drago has the edge at 1 and 2.
Didn't you bat just once in your career in this ballpark, Bob?
Yeah, in the Jimmy Fund game a long time ago.
Doubled off Arnold Early.
Center field wall.
Made Early famous.
Could have been inside the park home run, but we were way up.
That's when they had the lively ball.
You've had some lively times in Milwaukee lately, haven't you?
Right.
Oh, those Brewers are tearing things up.
Playing good.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Joe Rudy with the bases full. Drago trying to stop a big California explosion in the top of the first inning. High fly ball deep to left field. It is gone. Grand slam home run number 3 for Joe Rudy. In this ballpark. You could just almost feel it coming, couldn't you?
You could, and that's exactly why Keith Jackson told you folks that Joe had had 2 grand slams previously in this ballpark. Here it is again.
Well, we talked about the margin for error inside being very, very small. That's part of it right there. An inside fastball from Drago. And there you see it in the screen in left field. Grand slam home run for Joe Rudy. 6-0 California in the first.
Well, how do you do?
But don't go away.
No, don't go away.
Nope,
The hammer throwers are yet to get their chance.
not in this ballpark.
Jimmy Anderson, the shortstop. Bases are now clean, thank you, and you've got 1 out. As Jimmy fouls it away, it's 1 and 1.
Well, when Jim Rice told me we got to worry about Baltimore and Milwaukee, he might have added California in what remaining games they have left.
Don't forget that the Seattle Mariners came in here and really rattled the Red Sox around last Friday and Saturday, too. They hammered them. 1 and 2 as Anderson misses.
Hard to figure a club like Seattle shutting out Boston, isn't it, Keith? 8-0 shutout here, and then coming back to beat them 13-5.
They can do it. Held the Yankees to 5 hits in 2 games in the Kingdome, which is a hitter's paradise. But then the Yankees become a paralyzed team when they go there.
Drago delivers to Anderson at 1 and 2 and misses. It's 2 and 2. 3 of the 4 runs off Rudy's grand slam are charged to young Finch.
We showed you a graphic showing how Dick Drago has been bombed in his prior 11 innings. This is the 12th, and the bombing becomes the USA by day and the RAF by night.
That's a little looper. It's gonna drop in no man's land. Good effort by Jimmy Rice in left field, but that was one of those C&I singles that just nobody going to get to it. Shoveled it out there, and here comes Dickie Thon, who is the baby of the California lineup at 21 years of age, born in South Bend, Indiana. but a resident of Bayamon, Puerto Rico. Just turned 21.
There's the Angels on offense. Highest average in either major league since the '56 Yankees, who, by the way, won the World Series in 7 games against the Brooklyn Dodgers when Johnny Cox threw a 3-hitter and Yogi Berra hit a grand slammer against Don Newton. Just for those of you who follow baseball history.
Jimmy Anderson edging off first base. Drago trying to get him out. And the pitch to Thon is fouled off upstairs out of play. To complete the story, on the grand slam, Joe Rudy's 12th of his career. That's the most by any active player in the American League. And it's his 3rd of this year.
Joe Rudy is no .223 hitter.
No, sir. Not when their money's on the table. Anderson off first. And a 1-1 count to Thon. He checks, takes the curve on the corner for a strike. Bird had one earlier.
Here it is again. Aikens with a line drive to the shortstop Burleson. There he is. He'll step on the bag, and that takes care of Ford. Now the relay throw back to first base. Doubles up Baylor, and a triple play turned by Boston here in the 8th inning. There's the shot again, stabbed by Burleson across the bag, and the throw to first in time on Baylor. Triple play tonight.
So there was something to wait for, wasn't there? As Burleson turns in the triple play, and we'll be back. Let's have another look at the triple play. The second pull tonight in baseball as Aikens hits a shot to the shortstop Burleson. He almost loses his footing, then quickly goes to the bag, and then a great arm of his, he fired back to first base in time.
So even though their team is trailing 9-0, the fans here have been enlivened by that. And the Rooster was certainly reactive. Good Lord, Mike Schmidt has just hit his 34th home run in the 4th inning. The Phils leading the Padres 2-0.
Crowding around and looking at Jimmy Fox's record as Jim Rice hits it a mile high and gone. Jim Rice, 22nd home run of the year.
Boy, what a shot, Keith. He got it all. Hit it all the way out of here. Oh. You'll see it one more time. Jim Rice with his 22nd of the year. Sidearm fastball. He didn't budge. This one goes all the way out of here. High over that screen in left field. And Rice has his 22nd. You see the ball dropping over the screen. Now a 9-1.
And the crowd is roaring for Carl Yastrzemski,
imploring him to hit his 400th.
Foul back, and it's 1-1. Now it's a 2-hitter for Dave Frost, sitting on a 9-1 lead. He'll get another baseball. He does not want to be the man for number 400.
I'll tell you, he had a home run cut at that last pitch, Keith. He hit the ball twice hard tonight. Well, as you said earlier, he hit foul first time up. Then he put Rudy at the warning track in deep right center.
The 1-1 pitch for Yash. Change is inside. 2-1. Fastball is low inside. Bottom of the 8th inning, 9-2. Or 9-1 California. And Frost getting some boos from the crowd because he is pitching so carefully after yielding the home run. A mighty shot for Jim Rice. On the corner, it's 3-2. Now let's see who wins. On the ground to Thorne, the second baseman throws him out.
Actually, we say higher.
Field and flagged down by Dan Ford. And the ball game is over. Dave Frost's record now is 8-6. Joe Finch is now 0-2 as the California Angels beat the Boston Red Sox 9-2. Back after this message and a word from our local stations.
Fast, Bert Blyleven pitching up to his real ability now, becoming a bellwether.
Fastball hit in the air, foul in the right field seats.
More scores. The Royals over the Rangers 4-1. Baltimore came from behind again. What a ball club they are. I can't wait to see them next week. We've told you about the Cleveland-Milwaukee final. Baltimore doesn't hit until the 8th inning. Seattle edging a little bit on the Yankees. Chicago giving it to Detroit in the 6th. Toronto leading Minnesota. There's the Cubs double victory. Second game, Atlanta leading 1-0 in the 3rd. The Bucks won the 1st. Houston and St. Louis knotted 2-2 in the 5th.
Whoa! What a play by Frost! Double play! Wow!
You talk about reflex.
Oh! What a play by Frost on a bullet hit by Hobson. Here it is again. Look at this bullet hit by Butch Hobson now.
And watch this reflex move by Frost. Up will come the glove. Self-defense. Look at that. The head swinging to the right. Looked like spectacular bid. Tilting the head to the right down the stretch.
And the thing is, the kid was right in the ball game, wasn't he?
Right.
He immediately turned to get his double play.
Yes, sir. Wow, what a play by Frost. That ball was really tagged by Hobson.
Keith, you're right. He kept his concentration magnificently.
Here's Evans.
Sox still have a base hit on the board, though. Make one other point, Bobby, if I might, about Joe Rudy playing in right field. He has played very few times there during his 13-year career. Less than a dozen we know of. In fact, the records indicate maybe tonight is the 8th time he's ever played right field.
Where's Joe? I don't blame him for it. At least it kept us out of another hassle with the official scorer.
That's right, it did.
1 ball and 1 strike on Evans. Oh, I can't get over that play by Frost. The ball was hit like a BB. He still faced the minimum. Right now, he's 1-1 to Dwight Evans.
Reminded me of a Bjorn Borg reflex at the net, really, you know, in one of those eyeball-to-eyeball volley exchanges.
In the air, foul. He got a breaking ball and get out in front of it. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Evans.
I'll tell you, we're the lonesomest man in town tonight. It's been men in town. It's been Johnny Pesky and Eddie Yost, the coaches for the Red Sox. At least Johnny's had a couple of fellas to talk to, but Eddie's had nobody.
Well, we talked before the game. He's glad that the three-point play is coming into the NBA next year. Eddie Yost.
Got him swinging. That ends it here in the 6th inning. The Red Sox get nothing on 1 hit. Nobody left. At the end of 6.